Okay, so welcome back to the Chrono Talk channel, and this is the first episode of the Chrono Talk news. Stay tuned. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the last news of the watch world, the news that people is talking about, and I choose four subjects to talk about and say a little bit of my opinion about it. And the first thing that people often asked me lately is what I think about this new wave that I think I can say that it's a wave because we had in a very short time we had two launches from important brands of watches that are what we can call Gerald Genta lookalikes, or if you want to be more explicit, Patek Philippe Nautilus lookalikes. And I'm talking specifically about the Bell Ross BR05 and the Lange Odysseus. So what those watches have in common is the classic Gerald Genta design, which is sporty watches made of steel with integrated bracelets and a bezel that is very distinctive and very much the face of the watch in the sense that it's most of the character of the watch is on the bezel design. And as you probably know, the most memorable Gerald Genta designs are the classic Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, the Patek Philippe Nautilus, the IWC Engineer Jumbo, and the Vacheron Constantin Overseas. All of those designs are back from the 1970s, and I know that they still divide opinions. Not everybody like all of them. Myself, it's all a matter of very personal opinion. I like the Royal Oak and the Overseas more than the Nautilus and the Engineer, because especially the Engineer and the Nautilus from the 70s, they are more rounded. I cannot exactly explain, but I think that the Royal Oak and the Overseas are more angular, and the design are a little bit more modern, more actual. Of course, that back in the 70s, they were completely out of the curve, and back then they were considered sporty watches. The look of them today is not so sporty, but back in the 70s they were much more sporty looking than they are today. And even though liking it or not is a matter of very personal opinion, one thing that I saw people talking about, or I hear people talking about, is how much those brands like Bell Ross, especially Lange should be trying to catch that wave at that time, almost end of the second decade of the 2000s. And of course, one of the motivations is the fact that the Patek Philippe Nautilus is reaching over the last years a status that it never reached before. It's almost impossible to get one. Depending on the reference, it's impossible to get one. And this, of course, only generates more and more desire over this model in particular. And it's not a coincidence that those brands decided to follow that wave, and that's why I can call this a wave or tendency. And one of the very controversial side of this is the price tag, especially of the Lange Odysseus, because it's around $30,000. The Bell Ross sits around $5,000, which is much less, and especially much less than the Patek Philippe Nautilus. But the Lange, people is asking why it's worth to pay so much to a Nautilus wannabe. That's what people is saying. It's not me. So yeah, I can understand this. I don't know, even though it's probably a wonderful watch, it's very good looking, but still I don't know if this I can look at it at a like a classic Lange and Sune. It's still a bit strange for me, so I don't know if it's a good idea to brands to trying to follow something that it's not their own DNA. So, well, let me know what you think. Another thing that people is talking about, it's the new extended warranty that Richemont is offering for some of its brands. They are offering up to 8 years of warranty to Cartier, IWC and Panerai, and probably they will start offering this to other brands of the group. And this is a really bold move because it opened the doors for the competition over the brands, especially because the warranty became a sales point over the last years. And I remember that until 10 or 15 years ago, basically the industry standard was 2 years of sales warranty. And I remember that Omega started to offer 3 years on the watches with coaxial movements, and then up to 4 years, and then Rolex catch up and started offering 5 years of warranty, and then Omega started to offering 5 years as well. And other brands offer like an extension. It comes from the factory with like 2 years. For example, Audemars Piguet, they come with 2 years, and just by registering the watch, you earn another 3 years, totally 5 years of warranty. And that pretty much became a kind of a healthy battle between the brands to offering this as a selling point. And actually, I think this is very important because it was actually a response to the customer needs, because the customer started to realize that maybe 2 years is not exactly fair to watches that became more and more expensive. And giving more than 2 years of warranty gives the brand a better image and the confidence that they make really good quality products. Another news that people is talking about is that Omega is now offering a certificate of authenticity. This is a little bit different of the extract that they always offered since years, because the extract actually is just a document that it's made with the information that you gave. So you just have to give them the serial number, the case number, the caliber, and other details, and they just search their files to get the information on what the date of manufacturing or which country it was originally sold. But now the certificate of authenticity is really a thing that the brands attest that that watch is really authentic, entirely authentic, not modified or with parts that are not original or not from the right year or something like that. And of course, to make sure that they can offer this, you have to send your watch to the Omega headquarters in Switzerland. And I believe that this is a very hard job to do, because authenticating a modern watch is not very difficult, because in the computer era you have anything, every characteristic of the watch attached to its serial number. So basically you just enter the serial number on the system and it brings back all the exact case, dial, bracelet, hands combination, everything is attached to the serial number. But this authenticity certificate, it's for watches that are more than 30 years old. So this goes back to a time when not every information of the watch was registered in a computer. So I'm trying to think how hard it is to authenticate a watch that was made in the 40s or the 50s. So it's really a Herculean job to Omega to do this, but it's I think it's a great move for a brand that care about its past and its heritage, given that vintage watches are more and more sought after for enthusiasts, and also getting more and more expensive. And in the other hand, you are having more and more watches that are not completely original, and it's very difficult to be sure that your vintage watch is absolutely authentic. So yes, this is a great news. It's not very affordable. It's 800 Swiss francs to do this, and not to count with the shipping to Switzerland and everything. But if you really have a very important and historically relevant Omega, I think that it's probably worth it. And last but not least, the biggest news for today is, it's actually a coincidence that this was launched exactly today. I'm recording this on December 4th, and I didn't plan it to have this, but it just happened to be a few hours ago. That is the launch of the new Omega Seamaster James Bond. And it's not a coincidence, actually, because today was launched the trailer for the new James Bond movie that will be launched next year, the No Time to Die, 007 No Time to Die. And I bet that all the watch enthusiasts was trying to stop the trailer and pause the exactly moment when the watch appears, trying to discover what watch James Bond will use on the new film. But a few hours later, Omega bring the news, and this new watch is obviously a Seamaster, and it's a Seamaster 300 made of titanium with two strap options. One is a Milanese bracelet, and the other one is a NATO nylon strap. It's striped in black, gray, and something that looks like gold or bronze to match the fake patina of the luminous materials of the dial and hands. Another detail is that they made a kind of a homage to the classic Brodero stamp that was stamped on the original watches back in the past that were supplied to the Britain's Ministry of Defense and like the Army and the Navy. Actually, the Seamaster 300, the second generation of the Seamaster 300 from the late 60s, it was supplied officially to the British Navy, and they had exactly this Brodero symbol stamped, as well as the Royal Air Force watches that Omega also supplied to the Ministry of Defense back in the 40s and 50s. And one thing that probably people will talk about is the use of the fake patina. Yes, I know that I like it, but I know that some people is becoming tired of this use of the fake patina on dials and hands. Back when the industry started to make relaunches and homages to the vintage watches, I think that this was a really cool move to use the fake patina, because actually it was a little bit strange to watches that look like vintage having that very bright and white or the very light green luminous paint on the dial and hands. It was a little bit strange, so coming up with this fake patina was, I like it very much. I think it was a very good idea, but maybe industry is using this too much. It's It doesn't bother me, but I know that people is starting to get a little bit tired of this, so maybe people will criticize this a little bit, maybe. I don't know. This is very new. I didn't talk to anybody about this because it was launched a few hours ago, so nobody yet asked my opinion, so you are probably the first ones to hear my opinion about it. I think it's nice, and actually over the years I'm becoming less and less impressed by new launches from the brands, so I'm quite happy that I liked this one. This tells myself that it's probably a nice watch, because I'm not getting easily impressed lately with the launches. So that's it. Let me know your opinion about this watch, and I hope you liked this new episode about news of the watch world. Pretty soon I'm coming back with more news. Let me know your suggestions to things to talk about on this series of episodes. I hope you like it, and until next time, bye bye.